From cycles to waves, Elliott waves. The Elliott wave principle is a detailed description of how financial markets behave. The description reveals that mass psychology swings from pessimism to optimism and back in a natural sequence, creating specific waves patterns in price movements. Each pattern has implications regarding the position of the market within its overall progression, past, present, and future. Elliott wave is a form of technical analysis and attempts to forecast trends by identifying extremes in investor psychology, tops and bottoms in markets, and other collective activities. Its creator was Ralph Nelson Elliott, R.N. Elliott, who lived from 1871 to 1948. Now, I know this is starting to sound like a triathlon with cycles and waves, but they are closely interlinked. Elliott Wave Theory, the hypothesis suggests that there are 8 waves in any cycle. The cycle could be classified as the first leg in a primary bull market, for example. So let's take a look at this chart. Here are the 8 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Wave 1 is commonly known as an impulse wave. Wave 2 being a correction of the first impulse wave, a corrective wave. Wave 3 is the second impulse wave. Wave 4 being the second corrective wave. And wave 5, the third and often the longest impulse wave. And then we have wave A, which is the first wave of the correction of the primary move. So if we suggest this here is the primary move, and this is the overall correction of that primary move. So we have wave A, the first correction. Wave B is the second wave of the correction, a pullback of the corrective move up here. And then we have wave C, which is the final wave of the cycle. And after this, we would potentially be ready for the next leg up. Using Elliott theory is not an exact science, and one does need to use a little imagination. Squint your eyes or tilt your head. However, it does prove useful for reference. You can see here the 8 wave cycle. It's very important to remember. 3 primary impulse waves up with 2 intersecting corrective waves, and then the overall lettered phase, which you can see here, the numbered phase and the lettered phase. The lettered phase being A, B, and C. Now this is important to know and understand this basic wave, because this wave forms a complete cycle. Let's take a look at the next chart to see how to apply basic Elliott wave principles to the S&P 500 move in mid-2009. This chart takes us from the March 2009 bottom, which could be construed as essentially the first leg in the new bull market, the first primary wave. So here you can see that pattern is very clear. Wave 1, impulse wave. Wave 2, the corrective wave. Wave 3, the second impulse wave. Wave 4, the second corrective wave. And then wave 5 to here. And then you can see here now the lettered phase of correction of the primary wave, A, B, and C. And then potentially moving on for the second leg up of the bull market. What is interesting here is that this entire wave that we can see mapped here is one successful leg. And if we would look at an entire bull market move, this can then be extrapolated to show you 3 times this. So you would have this is the entire first leg, the correction, the second leg of a bull market, correction, the third leg of a bull market. And as you drill down, you see this pattern repeated again and again and again. So to recap, the more you drill down into a time frame, let's say you look at the Elliott wave over a 10-year period, you would probably see this pattern. And as you drill down, you would see this pattern repeat itself more and more and more over and over again. So here in this chart, we can clearly see that the pattern does repeat itself. And this is a very typical pattern that we should fairly simply be able to recognize in many stock market moves. So here you can see the primary wave, the primary move upwards, which is of course the 1, 2, 3, 4 corrective wave, 5 the peak. And let's say this could constitute a typical bull market from here to the bull market peak here at number 5. So you can see here this is a typical Elliott wave with the 8 waves, 5 up and 3 lettered phase correctors down. And you would say in an entire bull market that you would be able to see this here. This could constitute the bull market. And what we see is 3 complete Elliott waves. 1 to 5, A to C, 1 to 5, A to C again. There, 1, 2, and the third one here. And that perfectly replicates what we just saw earlier. And if you were to zoom out on this time frame, you'd see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have the primary waves, which are circled here. 1, 3, and 5. And when the bull market peaks, bull markets are typically of 3 whole Elliott waves, then you would see an absolute mirror image of that in the bear market. So when the bear market turns down, you would actually have to horizontally mirror flip this image of the wave so you can clearly see the downside. So here we can see that after the top of the bull market right here at 0.5, you would get your lettered phase of the bear market. And you can see now, instead of the primary impulse waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 being upwards, in a bear market, the primary impulse waves are downwards. 1, then with a corrective wave against the primary wave. 3, another impulse wave downwards, and the corrective wave 4 upwards against the primary trend, and then 5 impulse wave down. Then the lettered phase of a correction against the primary move, A, B, and C, and then typically another down move, which would be the final down move of the bear market. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it's very important to understand Elliott wave, to understand that this is a direct mirror image of the typical Elliott wave that we just saw. So let me highlight that here clearly. Here you can see the primary waves 1 to 5, and then here you can see the primary waves 1 to 5, a mirror image of each other